Since 93 Sports, the only place for sports, entertainment, and the most relevant social issues of today. Alright, Since 93 Sports, back with another one. As you all know, the Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev fight has been canceled. Allegedly, Kubrat Pulev has pulled out with the injury. They may have disclosed the injury, but I didn't catch that. But basically, the only thing we need to know is the fight's not happening because of an injury. As we all know, Pulev was stalling near the beginning negotiations of the fight. He didn't know if he wanted to fight. He admitted that he was scared of Anthony Joshua, and Joshua's team seemed to just force him into the fight. When have you ever had to force a number one contender to take an opportunity with the champion, especially when the champion is the number one money guy at that particular division? So we already knew something was up then. Pulev has been replaced with this guy, Carlos Takam. The only two fights that I know of him from is his fight that he had with Povetkin. I wasn't even following that fight when it happened. Once I looked him up, I seen that he had a fight with Povetkin, but I was following him whenever he had the fight with Joseph Parker. I believe that fight was a unanimous decision. And the guy, he's undersized in my opinion for heavyweight. He's like 6'1", and we know all the elite heavyweights are much taller than that. We talking 6'5", 6'6". Anthony Joshua 6'6", Deontay Wilder 6'7", 6'8". You know, Vladimir Klitschko was like 6'6". So you really not gonna be successful being that short in these days. Especially when a lot of these shorter heavyweights aren't athletic. If you're gonna be short in a heavyweight, you gotta at least make up for with their athleticism. And a lot of these guys, just don't cut it. And Takam's 36 years old. He hasn't got any major victories at the elite level. He's just been in the ring with those guys. So I guess that makes him a respectable opponent, a last-minute replacement. It kind of makes me think that Eddie Hearn knew something was going on earlier than he disclosed, due to the fact that it was reportedly said that Eddie Hearn had Takam training just in case Pulev pulled out the fight. And maybe they had those suspicions because Pulev was basically saying he was scared shitless of Anthony Joshua. So that might be logical. It might just be he was covering his ass, crossing his T's and dotting his I's. But that's another situation. And I wanted to get into Luis Ortiz possibly being removed from the WBA rankings. I went over to the WBA rankings. He's still the number one mandatory challenger. I believe what's going on is they're testing his B sample, and if that B sample comes back positive like the A sample, which is most likely, the WBA, I believe they're saying that they're gonna suspend him for 6 months and obviously remove him from the mandatory challenger. So a lot of these Wilder haters were stating that, there's some kind of conspiracy. The WBC is protecting Deontay Wilder. The WBC was pretty light on Luis Ortiz, and they basically coddled him and didn't even smack him on the wrist. They just like babying him. And the WBA, if anybody was gonna be manipulated, the WBA, they're the ones that are dropping more penalties than the WBC. So who's the one doing the manipulation here? If you're gonna call manipulation on Deontay Wilder and all this other shit, then where's the criticism for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn? Why would the WBC protect Deontay Wilder, when he's a big draw, but there's other guys that's a bigger draw than Deontay Wilder? If anybody's going to be protected, it's going to be Anthony Joshua, because he's the money man at the heavyweight division, and you could argue that maybe he's the money man in all of boxing. So that's just my whole thoughts on the situation. Joshua's just going to get this guy out of here, man. These big-ass motherfuckers like Anthony Joshua, man, when you give them all the advantages, you really can't even think this is going to be a competitive fight. He's taller than the guy. He's stronger than the guy. He's battle tested. He's just gonna knock him out, man. That's all it is. It's gonna be a quick fight, and that's all it's gonna be. These guys, man. When you got all the advantages, man, it's just crazy, mad confidence, and Joshua's gonna get off whatever he wants, and he's gonna get him out of there whenever he wants to get him out of there. And that's my thoughts on the situation. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when all my latest content drops, and I'm out.